Hello everyone! This is Master Garf, and I'd like to welcome you to the update video for Season 6 of Pandora's Box. We've been working hard on this event for months, and we've been looking forward to finally being able to return. We do have a lot of changes which we'll get through in this video, so make yourself comfortable. Isaac will now come on to explain all the changes for this season. Stick around, because we've also got a new game for you which will be introduced at the very end.
Thanks, Garf. Now before we talk about the games, let's begin with the general changes. Firstly, we've added new lobby music, which you can listen to before the event starts, after it concludes, or even between games. It is also composed by our amazing musician, Keltoncraft. As for physical changes to the lobby, we've added a new practice speedrun course complete with speed pads, jump pads, and water elevators. And most importantly, there is now a new Hall of Fame located to the left of the winner's podium. All winners from the previous 5 seasons can be found here. That's enough about the lobby, now let's move on to the games. Disco Fever has received a balance readjustment. There will now only be 7 colors instead of 8, making it easier to find blocks to land on. However, the speed of the game has been increased to compensate, so surviving to the end of the entire course will still be a challenging task. For speedrun, we are returning to Tussin's Paradise. A lot of the course has been redone to make it more enjoyable to play on. Most noticeably, the spiral section in the second half of the course has been completely removed and replaced with a longer track section which still loops around. As you may have guessed from the lobby section earlier in the video, many of the jump pads have been replaced with water elevators which will lift you up to the higher platforms. In addition, the elytra section will now end by passing through a wall of water, preventing players from using elytras beyond the intended section. Finally, this map will now be played with 4 laps instead of only 3. For Hyperdrive, we've changed the starting platforms of each map to now disappear completely, preventing some of the awkward starts which some maps had. Several maps have also received extra checkpoints throughout them to compensate for some of their long, narrow sections. For this season, we will be returning to Lunar, Journey, Nether, and Catacombs. Chalice Chase is getting a brand new map, Stony Field. The map has a lot of parkour options everywhere, without having any major choke points. But more importantly, the game has received a massive change. Instead of there only being 1 chalice, there will now be 2 in play at the same time. Each team will have 1 chalice spawning very close to their team, guaranteeing that each team will start with 1 each round. Of course, you won't ever be allowed to possess both at the same time. Otherwise, the rules are still the same as before. Gauntlet 2 has gotten a number of changes. Let's begin with the changed minigames first. To start, Sand Surfers has received a new dome, which generally decreases the amount of time which sand will spend falling to the ground. For Icebreakers, we've removed the fishing rods and enabled PvP. You will still get kill credit for knocking opponents into the void, of course. We've also got 2 new games coming in for this season. Firstly, we've added Speed Sculptures, which will involve recreating 2 ice sculptures as quickly as possible. You will need to break and place ice as needed to make each sculpture match the one next to it. Secondly, we've added One in the Chamber, which will involve you trying to get as many kills as possible within the game time. You will only start with 1 arrow for each life, but you'll get another one upon getting a kill. Arrows can kill any opponent with only 1 hit. Your sword will only deal its normal vanilla damage. And if you die, don't worry, you'll quickly respawn and be able to safely descend back into the map. You'll be invulnerable while flying in the air, but you won't receive your arrow until you land back on the ground. In addition to the 4 games mentioned, we will also be bringing back TNT Run and Obstacles for this season. And now, on to the PvP games. Sky High will once again be returning to Valhalla. The map has received many changes, mainly to make it less dependent on bridging in certain areas. The loot pool has also received many adjustments, and enchanting has been completely removed from the game. Survival Games has received a brand new map, Core Vitae. This heart-shaped island includes various landmarks, including a coliseum, village, mountain, and even a parkour challenge. And most importantly, the game has now been changed to have 2 rounds. Of course, this means that the game will now have a much quicker pace. The Gulag will also run a lot faster and has a new layout, but is otherwise unchanged from before. And those are the 7 games which will be returning to this season of Pandora's Box. But of course, there is still 1 to go, as Garf mentioned earlier. Temple Lockout is a brand new game, which involves PvP and has zones to capture. There will be 4 rounds. Teams will start in glass pods, and will need to work their way through the map. All the rooms are separated by doors, which will automatically open whenever any player goes near it. Each room has a zone to capture, which can be done by mining out the concrete and replacing it with the concrete of that team's color. But be careful, as zones can be stolen by other teams later. The map is a giant 7x7 grid, and the world border will force players towards the middle of the map. The border will shrink in 3 main segments, each one blocking off the outer layer of rooms. Deaths in this game are permanent, as there are no respawns whatsoever. Players will be given a map in their hands, which can be used to help navigate through the rooms. And as for the PvP, there will be 2 different loadouts used for this game. The first 2 rounds will feature regular swords and crossbows, while the last 2 rounds will use axes and tridents. Please note that the melee damage of the trident will be lowered for this game. Zone points are only counted once the game ends. And as for scoring, the game will be partially team split. Battle points will be given out individually, while zone points will be evenly split amongst the team members. In order to win this game, you'll need to be the best at PvP and be the best at capturing as many zones as you possibly can before the game ends. Good luck. And that's all I have to talk about, but I'd now like to bring in Danny to introduce a major change for the PvP games in this event.
Are you tired of cleaning? Are your well-deserved kills being unfaithfully robbed by other players? Fear no longer, my PvP enthusiasts, because salvation has arrived. That's right, Pandora's box will now feature damage points in all the PvP games, being Sky High, Survival Games, and Temple Lockout. With the addition of this, we've removed the need for dynamic, diminishing kill points. But don't worry, kill points are very much still a thing, and will continue to be an important aspect of our games. However, no longer will you suffer for not landing the last hit. Every one of these games will have a damage point pool, which is a large set number of points. After a round ends, every player's damage is combined and they will receive a percentage of the point pool equal to their percentage of total damage. We've also added complex countermeasures to ensure that intentionally farming damage points is impossible. You will only be able to be awarded a maximum of 10 hearts of damage per enemy. This limit will only reset in survival games if that enemy wins and returns from the gulag. With this, we hope to see more aggressive plays and an ever-growing thirst for combat in future seasons of Pandora's Box.
And those are all the major changes for Season 6 of Pandora's Box. It's been so long since we last hosted a season, 33 weeks to be exact, and we're hoping to provide the players and viewers with the very best experience possible, and we're all very proud of what we've created for you. We hope to see you in 2 days to witness all the action, this Sunday, April 2nd at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. See you there!